Hari Om, everybody. We are on the topic of Sthita Prajna Lakshana. That is the topic that is going on. The characteristics of a realized master, and the characteristics are being told to us so that we know what our goal is. That is the purpose. Why should I know how a realized master behaves so that I can perhaps try to imitate him? In the beginning, it might be a blind imitation, but finally I might really start doing it. So that is the goal that is being told to us, and that is what we have to achieve. The path becomes easier if you know the goal. Generally, even in the material world, you have a destination and then you go to Google Maps and look. How should I go? At least that's what I do. You don't look at the map first and then say, oh, what destination should I go to? It's not like that. The destination comes first and the maps come later on, and then your GPS. So that is what Bhagwan is now doing for us, is giving us the destination. And how you achieve it is up to you. It is not like you have to strive for all the characters, because it's a very high bar. Please understand, this is a realized master we are talking about. So the bar is extremely high. So there is no need to try to do it. It'll take us years and years and maybe even births to achieve that, right? But at least let's start the journey now. Now that we have heard about it, let's at least start. Let's at least do some basic things. So whatever resonates with you, whatever you think, oh, that is maybe possible for me to do, start there. Not like we are not asking you to do the whole gamut of, all the verses, 18 verses that are given, every single aspect that you have to follow, because it will be not possible. Depending on the evolution of the student, that many more characteristics he'll be able to follow, he or she. Okay, so that's why it's always self-analysis. You decide where you are on the ladder and pick maybe one virtue. One something pick which you think you can manage, and then start working from there, and then you go up the ladder. It's a ladder, so you go up. Now we were on verses 62 and 63, which are a ladder also, but they are a ladder of fall. And Bhagwan, we explained a little bit, I think, the last time we met. Dhyato Vishayan Punsaha, Dhyato, meditating on objects. Punsa is a person. A person who meditates on the objects. Even before the meditation comes, there is one more step, Sankalpa. Sankalpa, Samyak Kalpana, an idea of beauty or an idea of happiness in the object. In Mahabharata, there is a dialogue in Yudhishthira's character. Yudhishthira says this. It says, desire, I have come to know your root, your cause of, I have come to know. He's talking to desire. And he says the root cause of desire is Sankalpana. So he says, I will never do Sankalpana again. So if I don't do Sankalpa, means what? Sankalpa is what? Idea of happiness in the object. If I don't think that happiness is in that object, desire can never arise. Desire cannot arise for an object or a person or a situation unless I think it is going to give me happiness. Especially if you think this is going to give me sorrow, are you going to desire that object? If any clothes, oh my God, that will look really ugly on me. Oh, I want it anyways. No, you think, oh, I'll look most beautiful in that outfit. Then you will have the desire. So before dhyato, before this meditation is sankalpa. So if you can take care of the sankalpa, nothing else will happen. That is the original. So once you stop putting an idea of happiness into the world, and when we say world, it is person, object, situation, and world includes the body as well. So if you stop doing that, nothing further can happen. Now, because we still have not reached at that stage, that's why I told you, even if you start practicing, I shall practice not to do sankalpana on anything. Just take up this one thing. All others will follow. All others will follow. They are all like brothers and sisters, siblings. So they all will come together. You hold on to one, everything else will come. Don't try to hold on to all of them together. That won't be possible. So this sankalpana, because I'm doing sankalpana, because I think there is happiness in something, then what I do is that thing only I meditate upon. Even meditation doesn't happen on all the things. It's not possible. How many things? There are millions of things in the world. What millions of things will meditate on? No, we meditate on those only which we think will give me pleasure, which we think will give me happiness. So even happiness is not the correct word, but we say it. Now we are studying Vivek Churavani, so it's actually pleasure if you break it down again. But okay, let's say happiness. And then I will meditate on that. Now, meditation on an object, Bhagavan is saying, will create attachment, right? Because constantly you're thinking of that, there will be an attachment. And that attachment will give rise to desire, which will have two results, which can have two possibilities: fulfillment, non-fulfillment. The non-fulfillment of it is being talked about here when Bhagavan says, through that desire, because of that desire, because of non-fulfillment of that desire, anger will arise. One thing about anger, couple things: the intensity of desire will determine the intensity of anger. So if the desire is 100%, anger will be 100. If it's 50%, 50. So that way. So it's directly, the intensity of desire is directly proportional to the intensity of the anger. Now, the anger is never directed towards the object of desire. It is actually always directed towards the obstacle in that desire. So the direction of desire and the direction of anger are different. So the desire is directed towards an object, and the anger is, because it's not fulfilled, the anger is desired towards the obstacle. This thing. Now, but you can say, yeah, but not that every desire remains unfulfilled. There are fulfilled desires too. There are so many desires that I have fulfilled in my life. Yes, that will give rise to greed. Though greed is not mentioned in this verse, but there definitely is a possibility of a desire getting fulfilled, which will give rise to greed. Greed is when I want something more than what I need. There is a word called need, and then there is a word called greed. That's why Mahatma Gandhi has said that there is enough wealth or enough food in this entire world to enough for the need of everybody in the universe. But there is not enough wealth to fulfill the greed of even one person. Need can be fulfilled, but greed can never be fulfilled. Because the more you acquire, the more you get, the more greed will come. I got this much, now I can get more. Now I can get more. Now I can get more. And both of this, anger and greed, krodhat bhavati sammohaha. So krodhat bhavati, even with greed, even through greed, what will come is somehow delusion. Delusion is, we have seen delusion word many times, wrong thinking. Erroneous thinking is delusion. So you're getting deluded either by anger or by greed. And in that delusion, you forget smriti bhrausha, smriti vibhrama. So smriti vibhrama is loss of memory. Loss of memory, this word indicates, see, there is one thing where I don't know only anything. Okay. Then if I don't know, that is not loss of memory. If I don't know only, say, driving, or cooking, if I don't know something, it's not a question, oh, I forgot what the recipe of this particular thing is. The forgetfulness comes as a follow-up to knowledge. Like, I know, but at that moment I've forgotten. And it happens to me many times. I start doing a dish and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, should I be adding this or should I be adding that? But I have known that recipe before, and then that as a follow-up, this loss of memory is coming. So when Bhagavan says there is loss of memory in delusion, because it is wrong thinking, and what correct thinking is the correct knowledge that I had. I have that knowledge, but at that moment, in the moment of anger, in the moment of extreme greed, I forget. So that's why this loss of memory is important. Please know that this person knows. The person knows what is right, what is wrong, but he forgets. he forgets. And then smriti bhranshad, buddhi is intellect. See, intellect is constantly depending on memory. Memory is the depending thing for intellect, because intellect says, last time I drove this way, then there was a whole lot of construction. So let me take another way. Intellect is constantly looking at memory to make decisions. Now what has happened is this memory has gone, this support has gone for the intellect. How can the intellect make a decision? There's no memory only. What was right? What was wrong? Memory is gone. Intellect will say, I heard that this is the correct thing to do. I know that this is the correct thing to do. Then the intellect will do the correct thing. But now this memory is gone. Now the intellect has nothing to look at. No memory is there. Now what is the intellect going to do? Therefore, buddhinasha. Buddhinasha is not that the intellect has suddenly gone away from that person. The intellect is there, but it cannot function. That means it is like destroyed only. My famous example, my very favorite example, I have taken the flu shot, which I really did last Saturday. Now, as if the flu virus is dead for me. It's not there because I'm protected. So this buddhi nasham is not that the intellect has gone away anywhere, but it is not functioning. Then it is as good as destroyed. And it's not functioning because it doesn't have that crutch of memory. The memory is gone because of delusion. And then once the intellect is destroyed, the person is destroyed as well, right? Because the person's behavior, any person's behavior, is based on his intellect, his values. Why do I not steal? Why do I not cheat? Why do I not run the red light even at 2 o'clock in the midnight when there is no other? There was one cyclist next to me, and then there was solid red light. I was in the car, and then the guy just looked right and left. It was early in the morning, and then he just went. He just went. So I was wondering whether cyclists have to follow the rules. And then, one cyclist, my friend, she said, no, we have to follow the rules. But then I gave him a leeway because I said, if I was walking, I would have done that. I would have looked right, looked left. Oh, nobody is coming, and crossed the street. So the thing is that this intellect, all these actions are based on our intellect. Now, intellect only is gone away. Gone away in the sense, not gone away physically anywhere, but it cannot function because of loss of memory. And so the person will perish. There is an incident that has happened in my childhood, and some of you will have heard this, but I'm sure there are quite a few who have not heard it. And I'm going to tell that because that demonstrates, it's a demonstration of this ladder of fall. Okay. That's why it's like a practical example of this ladder. So nobody can have any. First of all, these are Bhagwan's words. So there's no way that there is anything wrong in these words. But I will also give you a practical example, and it's not a story. It's what really happened. So in my father was a police officer, and police officers, one of their duties in the department, whichever department you are, he was in the CID. So his job. When the Prime Minister would come to Bombay, say, there will be uniformed police who are doing their duty, but there will be ununiformed police mingling in the crowds. That's because you see, because a policeman in uniform, anybody can identify. So they always had ununiformed police, and these ununiformed police carried guns. So a friend of ours, it's not my dad, it's not my story. A friend of ours who was a police officer like this. So what happens is, in those circumstances, Prime Minister is coming tomorrow. On the previous day, that revolver will be issued to the government, to that officer. And he will, of course, take it home, and then he'll keep it in his cupboard. And that time he used to have to go to his cupboards and lock the cupboard. Next day, he will go on duty, he'll take the revolver. Third day, that revolver has to be returned. So this police officer, he was issued this revolver for the duty next day because some dignitary was coming, foreign dignitaries come, this thing, that thing. These are people they belong to like CID, which is a criminal investigation department. So they have profiles of known people who would want to hurt this, that, blah, 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 whatever. That's a different matter. Anyway, so he had this revolver in the house, and the husband and wife went out for shopping or something. Their son was, he was in college. He was in inter science, okay, second year of college. And the son was in love with a girl. But unfortunately, that girl was in love with somebody else. And she refused to, she said, no, I'm in love with him. I'm not in love with you. So this guy, in a fit of anger, he went, he stole his father's revolver, and he went and he actually shot that other guy, the girl, that guy with whom this girl was in love with, and he killed him. He killed him. Okay, this is real. This is for real. So the father and mother, in the meanwhile, they came home. Now the father was very, very, this thing, he saw the cupboard open, the revolver missing. First thing he went and he complained to the police. He went and filed a report, because he knew that if he didn't file a report, his job was gone. He would have been suspended right away. And he knew that. And he knew that his son, because, you know, who else will be, it wasn't a robbery. He knew that. So he went and filed a complaint. This kid then was thrown in jail. Okay, look at how his life went. Then he was in jail. Then he, of course, he had great repentance, etc. He completed his degree in jail, and then he was released in Mahatma Gandhi's centennial year. They had forgiven quite a few criminals, those who had, you know, like he wasn't a criminal. He did it in a fit of anger. So those type of criminals, they released, and he got released in that. This now, please understand, and that girl got married to somebody else only. Okay, so ultimately he never got what he desired. But what happened to his life? Now this kid was a police officer's son. Did he not know that that revolver should not be touched? I mean, I have seen many, many times my father bringing in the revolver. I've seen that. Immediately he'll bring it in, hand it over to my mom. Immediately it went into the in the Godrej cupboard, in the locker. My mom will put it, lock the locker, then lock the Godrej cupboard, all that. And we never saw it till next day morning when my dad took it, came back again, same thing, third day back. So did that son not know that it was wrong to even touch the revolver, let alone take it, let alone go shoot somebody? Did he not know? But what happened was he got extremely agitated, extremely angry when she said that, no, I don't love you, I love him. And then the anger was directed not towards her, towards him. So this is why I'm telling you. So he was so much dhyato, sankalpana. He did a sankalpana. This girl will make me happy. But she was not feeling same way, that she didn't think he will make me happy. That's what we do. Sankalpana is only one way, please. Especially when it is directed towards objects. That object is not saying, take me home, take me home. Is the object saying anything? No. Object is not, we only one-sided love it is. It is only one-sided. I will be happy if this object comes into my house. So this is what happens in Krodha. He got deluded. He lost his memory. And in that the intellect perished. And in the intellect perishing, his whole life. Now this became such a public case because he was the son of a police officer. And the father, because he went and filed a report. FIR was first filed by the father himself, that my son has taken my police issued revolver. It wasn't even his private revolver. It was a little bit less this thing, but government issued revolver. And did the son not know? He was educated. He was in inter science. So did he not know that? He wasn't a child or something. Oh, I don't know what this is. This is a toy maybe dad has brought home. Let me take it. So that's why this Smriti Bhramsha is very important. Memory is lost. And memory is lost in delusion. The same thing happened to Arjun now. Exact same thing happened. His delusion was different, but he forgot he was a warrior. He forgot that. He just remembered, I am a son and a grandson. That is delusion. Forgetting what you actually are in that moment is delusion. That's why when you stick to what your duty is at that moment, you will not have delusion. So when you know your correct placement of correct identity at every moment is very essential. When I'm driving in the car, I'm a driver. So my attention should be fully focused on all sides, how the traffic is coming, what red light, what stop sign is coming, what is happening. That's where my attention, not think of my child and my grandchild, and your mind is somewhere else. So every moment, what is your identity? Identity changes from moment to moment. I think it is me only, but it's changing. So when you're teaching, it's changing. When you're listening, it is something different. When you're driving, it is something. When you're cooking, don't forget the range and go talk on the phone. So when we remain in the present moment, we will not get deluded. When we are there, then we'll know, no, this time, this is what I'm supposed to do. This moment, I'm supposed to talk, and I'm supposed to talk only on Bhagavad Gita, not on something else. Then there is no problem. There's no problem. So that's why this ladder of fall is extremely important. And then Bhagwan, next verse. Any questions? Everybody okay? All right. That's why I tell that incident. I've told it many times before, because it just is so befitting to this verse, these two verses. Now the question arises, yes, Bhagwan, you gave us the ladder of fall. Is there any way that I don't fall? So Bhagwan has to give that also. What, by doing what will you not fall? So Bhagwan is now in the next verse giving us that antidote, let's say antidote. And from here, from 64 to the end, 72, the question that is being answered is Kim Vrajet. Don't forget the questions. There were 5 questions, right? One of them was Kim Vrajet. How does he move in this society? How does he move in this world? I told you, the world doesn't disappear for a realized master. It is exactly the same world that we are living in. How does he move and how do we move? That's where so that's why we have to know how he moves. So we try to, and moves means not a physical movement. How does he live in this world? That's why those questions are not very, they're not very superficial. They're very deep. So movement, don't think, oh, how does he move? Does he move only in the car? Does he get rides from everybody? Can he drive a car? So then does he fly by first class only in the plane? No, that is not the movement that Bhagwan is talking about. Or Arjun is even asking. He's saying, how does he go about in this world? So that's for us as well. Raga dvesha viyuktastu vishayanindriyaishcharan atmavashet vidheryatma vidheyatma prasadamadi. But the self-controlled man, moving among objects with his sense under restraint and free from both attraction and repulsion, attains peace. There is a word tu here in the last syllable of the first word. Raga, dvesha, viyuktaihi, tu. That is the break there. There is a sandhi there. So tu means but. That's why that ladder of fall is given. But there is an antidote. But indicating a means to rise. Raga, dvesha, viyuktaihi. Viyuktaihi, without. Devoid of raga and dvesha. Raga, attachment. Dvesha, aversion or hatred or whatever. Remember this same thing, Bhagwan. That's why I told you that very, very important verse. Sukha dukhe samay kritva. I told you that is an instruction that Bhagwan gave Arjun, because this is the goal. Sukha dukha, when you make sama, equanimous, how is sukha coming? Sukha is coming out of something that I am attached to and I get it. So sukha is coming out of raga attachment. Okay, I'm attached to something. From there, I get that object that I'm attached to, sukha is arising. Okay, then dvesha is aversion. So I don't want this object. Either I get it, if I get it, dukkha comes, And if I don't get it, sukha comes. If I don't get something that I don't like, or if I like something and I don't get it, dukkha comes. So that's why there only Bhagavan said, this getting the object or not getting the object is external. But this raga and dvesha is internal. And this internal raga and dvesha is causing sukha and dukkha. And so Bhagavan, that at the root only he said that sukha dukkha only you make equanimous. So what happens is you have then if you neutralize sukha and dukkha, you are neutralizing like and dislike. And when you neutralize like and dislike, and what do I mean by like and neutralizing like and dislike? Because it doesn't matter. See, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. And therefore you should understand that it is matter, so it doesn't matter. Understand, it is matter. It's inert. It doesn't matter. Whether I get it or whether I don't get it, it doesn't matter. And connect this to Vivek Chudamani, because you see, Vivek Chudamani, we heard that the happiness is inside. So that is how you have to connect all these teachings, all these different, like, oh, it is inside. So actually it is not outside. That will help you. That teaching from Vivek Chudamani will help you neutralize your like and dislike, because you will come to know that, okay, what I thought this happiness was outside is not outside. It is inside. So it will be an aid. It will be an aid to follow this. So even if you take this one instruction, say, I told you in the last, if you take, okay, I will not do sankalpana. Now take this, I have to do, then okay, you say, if whether I get it or whether I don't get it, I will remain the same. You can take this one thing. That's why sukha dukkhe samay krutva Bhagavan said. That's it. That one instruction, if you take Bhagavan's, all other things will follow. All other things. So this is how this is happening. So Bhagavan says that if you make your like and dislike if you become equanimous, there is no question of doing, even if you do sankalpana, okay, you do sankalpana, but then you say, you know what, if I get it, I'm fine. If I don't get it, I'm fine too. Many years ago, I was having, that time we used to have parties and whatnot. So this New Year's party was there. And this one lady was there who was very like, okay, whatever. So she said to me, I can't tell if I can come or not come. It was like a big deal, like, So I told her that time, this is even before I came into Vedanta, I told her, you know what, you're one person, I'm inviting so many people. So there's no question of me making more food or less food. For one person, what difference will it make? That's my number one. Second thing I said, if you come, I'm happy. Don't worry. Don't think that because I'm inviting you, I will be happy. But if you don't come, I will not be sad. That is my principle. You come, I'm happy. And you don't even have to phone me last minute. I'm coming, because I'm not going to change my quantity of food. I'm not changing anything, right? So you don't have to tell me. It wasn't COVID times that time. So there were people who would come. This time I did a party, I said, you better tell me whether you're coming or not. Because if you don't come, I'm putting some other person in that when I had a party in the seasons, right? But then I was just restricted to numbers. So I was very, very adamant that everybody confirm and reconfirm. And even at the last moment, please tell me, because there's a waiting list. But that time it wasn't like that. So this is how it should be. If you come, I'm happy. If you don't come, I'm not sad. That equanimity has to come. And that will come only when you have, suppose you like that person, or you put some, that person came to my party. That means my, status went up. If you have those kinds of stupid ideas, to me, it's stupid ideas, then you're going to be sad. That person didn't come and people didn't think my party was so great. No. This is what it is. So, Vishayan Indriyash Charan, Vishaya, objects. Indriyash Chara word is moving. When the senses are moving among the objects. Now, why are the senses moving in the objects? Because they have no choice. World is not going anywhere. The eyes are open, they will see color and form. You can't live like Gandhiji's monkeys, right? You can't, nobody can live like that. So your eyes are open, you're going to see color and form, nose is going to smell, tongue is going to taste, skin is going to touch, this thing. So the Vishaya word actually means both. So here, because Indriya word also has been used, Vishaya means objects and Indriya means senses. So these senses are moving among the objects and they will constantly continue to move because the objects are not going anywhere and the senses they can't do anything else. The senses cannot do anything else. Eyes will see, nose will smell, ears will hear. So the senses cannot do anything. But in your mind, the raga and dvesha is always in the mind. It is not in the eyes. Eyes are not saying, I want to see blue color, I want to see this particular color, I want to hear this particular music. The mind is saying that. Mind is the king of the senses. So this moving among objects is, there's no choice. There's no choice there. So where there is no choice, you cannot do anything unless you're willing to, close your eyes, close your nose, keep your mouth quiet, put plugs in your ears. How can you move about in the world? You can't. So the choice is not there. Where is the choice? It is in the mind. I have a choice with my mind. I am not the mind. Most of us are unaware of this. I think I am the mind. So when my mind wants to do something, do. When the mind wants to buy something, buy. When I mind, whatever I feel like I should do. That is not what is the Vedantic teaching. The reason we have control over the mind is because we are not the mind. That part has to be remembered. Otherwise, we would not have had control over it. But even though we are not the senses is something we don't have control over. Atma vashet vidheyatma. This, with his sense, self, this is Atma vashet vidheyatma is the one who has his senses controlled. Atma here is self, but self is not the pure self, is not talking about the pure self. So one who has control over himself. So what is himself? Myself is my senses now, because they're bringing in the perceptions, right? The organs of action will go into action only afterwards. So controlling the organs of action is very easy. Because if that perception is not creating any like or dislike in my mind, the organs of action will not be put into action. Therefore, organs of action are not mentioned here. See, the thing, there is an object where my senses have come in contact. Now there is my attachment. Now my mind will order my organs of action to be running. So now they will start running towards that object. Another object is there which I don't like. Now I'll be running away the other direction. So the organs of action are not to be worried about that much. Most control has to be on the mind. Perception will keep on happening. There is no choice in perception happening. Control is only at the level of the mind. And the mind is controlling both sense organs and organs of action. So once the sense organs are controlled, organs of action will automatically be controlled. There is nothing missing. And such a person, he says, prasadam adhigacchati. Prasada. So this word prasada is a state of mind, which is, of course, a general term is peaceful. Prasada is peaceful. And prasada is a state of mind which is free from either guilt or vanity. Both. We have to go beyond guilt and beyond vanity. So what happens is guilt comes when I think I've done something wrong. Then I feel, oh, geez, I shouldn't have done that. Or vanity comes, pride. I did that and I got this. So there is that pride. Now, both this vanity and guilt are coming from a sense of doership. Where will guilt arise? When I think I did it. When will vanity arise? When I think I have done it. So now I got this, whatever, promotion, whatever. So this guilt and vanity both are arising from ego, from doership, and therefore the doership when it is controlled. So then and this prasada, the doership will be controlled when what? When it is not making an effect on me. What is this without raga dvesha means anything that is coming in my cognition, in my recognition, whatever that I see, hear, taste, touch, or smell is not making a dent in my mind. It's not creating a dent. Dent is what? When I like it, then I'm getting excited. Oh, I want it, I want it. Oh, I don't want it, I don't want it. I don't. These are dents in the mind. The mind, please understand, mind is basically sattvic, and mind is the basis of mind is silence. The basis of mind is Brahman, pure self. So the substratum is very peaceful. And then these type of thought waves keep coming because of raga and dvesha. And when they are controlled, raga and dvesha is controlled, it becomes peaceful. The mind becomes peaceful. And then that is prasadam adhigach. Adhigachati means he gets it. He gets prasad. Actually, it is not a matter of getting prasad. It is just a matter of removing the thought modifications. Then already the mind is peaceful. Prasad, another thing is, see, this word prasad, we generally, when we go to a temple, we get prasad. Right? Prasad is, what is prasad? Now, suppose if I am going to the temple and I go to the store, do I say, please give me half a kilo of prasad, or do I just say, give me half a kilo of peda or whatever sweet? I don't use the word prasad, do I? Does anybody go and say, give me some prasad? I'm going to the temple. No. When you buy it, it is an object only. It is either laddu or jalebi, whatever that you buy, flowers, fruits, whatever. It is, give me so many, or you pick up, whatever fruit, etc. Then you go to the temple. Then you offer it to the Lord. When the priest gives it back to you, he says, prasad le lo. Have you noticed this? So it becomes prasad when it is offered to the Lord. And when it comes back, and when I'm distributing that among my friends or family, I say, this is prasad. Do I say this is laddu? Do I say this is apple or banana or whatever? I say this is prasad. So the idea of prasad is when I get it back from Bhagwan, and generally prasad is sweet. Nobody gives savory things as prasad, it takes as prasad. So it makes the mind peaceful. This is from a very gross point of view, this word prasad. So prasad is something which I eat and then I feel, aha, I feel peaceful. So this prasad, Vedantically, as a spiritual seeker, this prasad, not by eating to get that peace, but by controlling the mind, you can get that same peace or even a greater peace. Because that eating that much time, you will get that peace, and then again the craving will start. Oh, that was so nice, huh? I should have given me one more laddu. But whereas this peace, while you're moving around in the world, which you're doing 24/7, when your senses are under your control, when your likes and dislikes are under your control, you will be constantly at peace. You will be constantly in that prasad mode, so-called. Okay? Any questions? All right. Why I should be in prasad mode, Bhagwan? See, people ask questions. So question arises, why? Why should I be? Because, now Bhagwan gives the reason. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate prasanna chetaso yashu buddhi paryavatishthate. In that peace, all pains are destroyed. For the intellect of the tranquil-minded soon becomes steady. That's why, see, reason. Why prasada gachati? Why should I get prasad? Why should I not run around in the world with likes and dislikes? Why should I control my likes and dislikes? Why should I neutralize them? Why should I be of equanimous mind? Because in that peaceful mind, all the sorrows will get destroyed. Now, what is the meaning of sorrows getting destroyed? The sorrow will be there, but you will not become sorrowful. Sorrows, even for a realized master, don't get physically destroyed. We have seen physical realized masters getting cancer and heart disease and all surgery, everything we have seen. Okay, did that master become miserable? And do I? Little one thing, I am totally shaken. So in that peaceful mind, that's why that mind has to be equipoised. When the mind is equipoised, this sorrows will come, but they will not affect you. They, because I don't like sorrow and I like joy. That's why there is disturbance. The disturbance is coming out of like and dislike. Now the like and dislike has been neutralized. So when it comes, things happen to the body. It's the body's prarabdha. They will happen. Nobody can say nothing is happening to my body. Nobody can say all 24/7, 365 things are happening to my body. Though there are people who, a lot of problems they do have. I do understand that. But the thing is, there will be acceptance. That's the main thing. When you accept something, there is peace. Now your mind is already at peace because you will accept more. The more dislike you have, there'll be less acceptance, right? Because I don't want my body to be unhealthy. Then any little thing that happens to my body, I'm like fighting. Now with this acceptance, what it is either you accept, some people accept outwardly, but inside they're boiling. Okay, so maybe outside this, it doesn't matter, nothing, that's fine. Especially I have seen people when they talk to me, they usually they will say this, right? Because they know I am into Vedanta and all that. But when you're doing that, then you know what the result is? Blood pressure. Because in your mind you're stressed. You're totally stressed in your mind. Outside, you're pretending to be everything is cool. That's okay. Things happen. People tell me also, if I tell them this happened to my body or anything, it's okay, Jaya. I said, Are Baba, I know. Don't have to tell me. I know. So that sort of acceptance is not good. External acceptance, but inside, then you're going to end up with some other stress related, whatever, blood pressure, diabetes, whatever it is. Now, either there is, or there is then revolt. Most of the people will revolt. They will, means there is absolutely no acceptance. There's no acceptance outside, even a pretentious acceptance, or there is no acceptance inside, so there isn't. So they revolt. Now what happens? Do you think that thing will go away? It's not going to go away. So you are ending with blood pressure also inside, and outside also you are fighting. Will there be any peace? There cannot be any peace. So the best thing is to accept joyfully. That is where the spiritual seeker should be. That is what the realized master does. He says, okay, this has come for my body. It is the body's prarabdha. What to do? And do treatment. The Vedanta is not telling you, no, do treatment, but accept. Then there will be peace. This is what is meant by prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rasyopajayate. They will get destroyed. Means that acceptance has to be complete both externally and internally. And nobody is saying don't take treatment. Acceptance doesn't mean you just, okay, it has come, okay, fine, whatever, let it do whatever to me. No. Your body is paining, take Tylenol. Nobody's saying don't take that, but don't complain about it. This is what it is. And then prasanna chetas is mind intellect. Chetas. Chit comes from the word chit. Prasanna, happy. Prasanna is what? Happy. Prasannata. Prasanna chetasa, because when that mind is happy in all circumstances, it's a live, vigilant and alert mind. That is what is the meaning of prasanna chetasa. It's not constantly complaining, deluded, not accepting, revolting, unhappy inside, one thing inside, one thing outside. No such thing. There is a complete acceptance within and without. And then that is a very alert, vigilant mind. It's a peaceful mind. It will think how I should deal with this situation. For us spiritual seekers, we will think how to deal with it, and we will deal with it. For a realized master, and I will tell you this incident as well. It is not a story, it is real. Swami Tapon Maharaj had malaria once, and he suffered for 44 days. And within that, he was told, he had devotees, They said, why don't we take you to the doctor, or we'll call the doctor to you? And apparently he was still traveling in that condition. He was shivering all the, you know how malaria is, you shiver and then you this thing, fever, whatever. He said, this is the prarabdha of my body. If that body is going to survive, it will survive. I don't need doctor medication to survive. This is the realized master. Please, please, please. This is the vision of the realized. Please do not do this, okay? Man, oh man. Otherwise, you guys are going to blame me. No, I am the first one. I had pain in my leg. I have got Tylenol next to my bed. In the middle of the night, my leg was hurt, whatever, I had some problems, right? I was the first one to swallow Tylenols. Left, right, and center. First 2 days, three Tylenol per day. So I'm not telling you to do it, but I'm giving you the vision of a Sthita Prajna. Swami Tapon Maharaj was a Sthita Prajna, established in that highest supreme Brahman. He could say that, and he did suffer malaria for 44 days. After that, it went away. After that, it went away. But do not try that. Even at the very end, when his body was extremely emancipated, that time Swamiji was, Gurudev was there, Swami Chinmaya, he heard, he immediately went to wherever he was in the Himalayas. He didn't even come down. He was very, very sick. His last photos are there, you know, extreme, just skin and bones. There was no flesh. And then Gurudev went and started crying, literally. He cried, he physically cried. And he said, Swamiji, I have got devotees in Delhi. You know, please, I will take you to Delhi to a hospital. He said, Chinmaya, doesn't death happen in Delhi? It doesn't happen. And you are crying for this body? I have been waiting, he said. These are his words. I have been waiting to merge with Brahman, and now you're preventing me by keeping me in this body, which is nothing anyways. Right? That is the vision of a Sthita Prajna. And Gurudev also was realized at that point. But when he came to his Gurudev, he was very, very huge. Yeah, that is the love that you have for your Guru. Because that Guru has taken you beyond sansar. So that love is something very special. So he even though he cried, he said, are you telling me that the death doesn't happen in Delhi? Right? So this is this prasanna chetasa hashu buddhi pari avatishthate. Pari all round. We have heard this word before. Paryuvatishthate is pari avatishthate. Avatishthate, it gets settled in that Brahman. So this incident of Swami Tapon Maharaj, that tells us that his intellect was paryavatishthate. His intellect was so very well, samyak, very well established in that Brahman, that no matter what happened to the body, it is not happening to me. It is not happening to me. That is the vision of the Sthita Prajna. That is what we have to, at least, you know, if we can practice a little bit. And that practice will come only when these likes and dislikes go. And that is what is meant by Sarva Dukkhanam Hani Rasyopajayate. Do not think that because you're studying this Bhagavad Gita that no sorrow will come to you. Sorrow will come. As per your prarabdha, sorrows will come. Illnesses will come. They come. Human birth is 50% papa, 50% punya. So when that papa is fructifying, something or the other will come. Okay? But don't get disturbed by it. Through knowledge, understand, have the discrimination that this is, and no blame game. He did this, therefore this happened to me. She did that. No blame game. I did whatever karmas I've done, and now this thing has come. Okay, fine. I accept. You shouldn't say that I don't like sorrow, because whether you like it or not, it's going to come. The more you say I don't like it, the more it will come. So don't say. Just remain neutral. Okay? Any questions? Everybody okay? Now, why I should have prasad buddhi? Why I should have peace of mind? I don't want peace of mind. Now Bhagavan gives the reason. Nasti buddhira yuktasya na cha yuktasya bhavana na cha bhavayata shantihi ashantasya kutas sukham. There is no knowledge of the self to the unsteady. That's what Bhagavan is saying. And to the unsteady, no meditation. And to the unmeditated, no peace. To the peaceless, how can there be happiness? See, our main wrong thinking is happiness is that excitement which I get when I get something which I like. That also there is not, get something means not get anything, then I'm, no. But is that real that excited? That's why I told you, that pleasure that we get, that little excitement is like sticking your finger in a plug. So that electric shock, zzz. So every time the sense organs come in contact with their loved objects, which objects on which they've done sankalpana, that this object, then this. But when you remove that finger from the plug, then doesn't that excitement go away, wear away? And that's why Vedanta says that is not real happiness, which I think is real happiness. Before I came into this studies, we think that getting object, that is what is real happiness. When I get this object and that person and this person and this thing and that thing and this situation, I'm happy when it is very sunny and not raining outside. I'm unhappy when it's raining. So those sort of ideas, that's why here Bhagavan is saying that happiness for a peaceless, if you don't have peace within, how can you be happy? That's what Bhagavan is saying here. So, na asti buddhihi ayuktasya. So, there is no knowledge to the ayukta. Ayukta is, yukta is joined and ayukta is not joined, means not steady. Steady. When your speech, your action and your thought are in alignment, they are one, then that is what is known as truth. So, when your intellect is peaceful and aligned with whatever you're speaking, whatever you're doing, then there is peace. If that peace is not there, cha ayuktasya bhavana. Bhavana here is meditation. Bhavana means here, what is Gurudev translate? Bhavana, meditation. Yeah, correct. Here, so here bhavana usually means like a feeling or something, but here it means meditation. So when your mind is not steady, how can you meditate? Forget this meditation on the self. Say your mind is worried about something happening in the family members, whatever. Even your work, are you able to concentrate fully? Just your external job, when your mind is worried. Now, this is a material example in the material world. This bhavana which we are doing is on the most subtle Brahman. It is 100 times more difficult than doing meditation on external object. Concentrating on meditation is what? Concentration. So on the external object, concentrating. So can you concentrate on a project or whatever work that is, if your mind is worried? Even outside you cannot concentrate. If your mind is not at peace, how will you concentrate on Brahman? That's why Bhagavan says, because that is the final gateway to realization, is finally the meditation is required. Maybe this life, maybe next life, but that's all we are preparing towards. This is a preparation towards the peace of mind, is a preparation towards meditation. And now the one who cannot meditate on Brahman, how he will have any shanti, peace? And the one who does not have peace cannot call himself happy. See, happiness is therefore ultimately, Vedantic happiness is that peace of mind. And that's the only reason we say that a Sthita Prajna can be happy in all situations, because his mind is remaining peaceful in all situations. Our mind, think about it. Is it remaining peaceful in good and bad both? It's not. Only in good, we are getting this excitement, right? Which we consider happiness, which is not happiness in reality. But I consider that as happiness. And when bad comes, then I'm depressed, I'm sad. And such a person. So the thing is, a person cannot meditate. Why? Because his mind is not, mind intellect is not integrated. Only when there is integration, there will be peace. If there is no integration, there is going to be friction, and that is not a state of peace. See if the mind is saying, oh, Gurudev, very, very, very common example, there's a diabetic. The mind is saying, arey, sweet, I want to eat it, I want to eat it. And the intellect is saying, no, doctor said, don't eat, don't eat, don't eat. So now there's friction between the mind and intellect. When there is this kind of a friction between mind and intellect, will there be peace? But if the mind and intellect are integrated, they are one. So even if the mind says, I want to eat it, then the intellect says, you know what? No, tomorrow your blood sugar is going to go. And the mind says, yeah, that's true. That's right. I better stay away. Now there is peace. So when mind and intellect are integrated, there is peace. But if that integration is not there, meditation cannot happen. And why is that integration not there? Because the mind is still got likes and dislikes. Like and dislike is at the level of the mind. It is not at the level of the intellect. It's a feeling. So that mind is still got likes and dislikes. Now, why does the mind still have likes and dislikes? Because they have not attended satsang regularly. No, because, okay, no. Means why it has got likes, and because likes and dislikes have not been neutralized. Okay, that is, now I can go one step further. Why they're not neutralized? They never heard me. They never heard Bhagavad Gita. So they are not neutralized. So this is what happens. We'll stop here today.